This is going to be a wee short video here. I got a comment from Peter about how I wire up the electric sockets. He says you shouldn't twist your cables together like that. Lots of good videos online that shows you how to double back and do your cables properly. The only thing I'll say, this book's old. This book is old. We bought this in the B&Q London Lusty Galvin store. And to give you an idea, that was knocked down years ago. The new store opened up on the city side and that is closed down years ago. So this book is definitely 20 years old. Things have changed in 20 years. The problem I find on YouTube, most people who are doing things on YouTube, like I would never put nothing on YouTube, this is how you do something. The whole idea of my videos on YouTube is I don't earn a big lot of money, but I like to tour the place. And the way you can do it is by doing your own repairs rather than pay. If I had to pay everybody in this year, like get my oil heating fixed and everything else, I'd be broke. But doing the things yourself, and some things are not as complicated as you think, it means you've got money for diesel to go away in caravans and stuff. You know that if you've got an old 1960s car, it won't have seat belts in the back seat. I doubt it'll even have seat belts in the front seat. It passes the MOT. That's the design of the car. And yet, if a modern car has a seat belt light not working, even though the seat belt's working, it'll fail the MOT. Standards change as it goes on. My house was built in the 1970s. This book is more modern than my house. So, all the wiring in this house was done the way it's done in this book. There may be new, like, the things have changed, like the dials on electric meter. We don't have dials on electric meters no more. We've got smart sockets and stuff like that. Different types of flexes. See how he's stripping the flex? This is a DIY book. Very few people will strip a flex like that now. They have a wee tool to do it. I would still use a knife to do a flex, but whenever you've got a single piece, this is not cable, this is flex. Whenever you've got a single piece of flex going into a hole, you bend it back. Now, I'm not sure if that's what he's on about. But I had a look on YouTube, and anything you do in life, there's always a plus and a minus to everything. Doesn't matter what it is. Where you're saving somebody's life and you might jump in, or saving somebody's life and you don't jump in, there's always a plus and minus. I like each wire to do 50% of the bending. On YouTube, when I looked, I noticed the boy had one wire going straight and the other wire twined around it. So I'm not sure if that's what Peter means. But I like both wires to twist around, so each one takes 50% of the current and 50% of the damage. The problem here in the UK compared to other countries, and it's very important this does not happen, all our 13 amp sockets are all linked together and ring circuit. The cable coming in is only half the capacity of what them sockets can pull. So if I was to put all them sockets on now in kettles, like our sockets here, 230 volts, they will boil a kettle in half the time an American socket will. Our voltage is a lot higher. And that's why we have all these safety things in. But our cable is too thin to cope because of World War II and rationing. As long as you've got the cable coming up from each side, there's not a problem. But should you not twine them together right, and one cable come loose, you push it in and it's tight and one cable comes loose, you will not know that one cable's coming in and the other one's not connecting right. You've no way of ever telling that. The first you'll notice is your socket's starting to heat up. And that can cause fires. But they say you've no way of knowing that. Maybe you have modern machines to do that now, digital things, but a DIY has no way of knowing that. When you put your cables in and you push that in, you got to make sure them two cables stay together. That's why I would do it 50-50. Some of the examples on here, like you see the way he's doing that with a knife. You don't get a nice neat end doing it that way. There's the old meter boards. I don't know if people still have them nowadays, but there's the old fuse boards. There's earth and pipes. Even now that the regulations changed, saying not the earth stuff like. So one time you would have failed the code because you earthed. You didn't earth it. Now you're feeling the code if you do earth them. So there's the old fuse board there. That's what was in my house when I moved in. Old fuses like that. The very old ones had fuse wire. So whenever they blew the fuse, you had a wee piece of cardboard, you get all the different sizes of fuse wire in the cardboard. And of course, if you didn't have no 15 amp fuse left, you used a 30 amp. And then that's what caused fires. Because people put the wrong fuse on. Then they changed them to cartridge fuses, which is like these. That way then, if a fuse, there's the old fuse wire. So there's nothing stopping you. You can even put tin foil in there. And people done that. And that's what caused fires. By putting in the wrong side of wire. It was dead cheap. We screw, put the wire on, it was dead cheap. These wee cartridges are more expensive. And now at my house now I've changed to these trips. So if then there's the fuse wire then the cardboard. It's showing it all here. So if say your 5 amp fuse ran out, actually I'll stick in 30, it's not much difference. And then your house goes on fire. While when they change to the fuses themselves, the fuses are all different sizes, so you can't put the wrong one in the wrong place. If anything goes wrong in your house, if that was not wired up right and it was overheating, the trips would go. So it's a lot safer now than it used to be. I did that in my mother's house. I don't know if that's still legal or not. I've put conduit in here, but the wall was tiled, so I've tiled over her wall. But bear in mind, the conduit used to be metal. It's changed to plastic. Why did they ever need metal? There's another thing going on. I've got a water tank. Modern houses don't have water tanks in the attic no more. So the wiring I've done is the way it's done in the house originally. There's another thing that's changed. They've now changed sockets because of all the flooding and stuff. Mainly it started off because of old people. People aren't dying no more, but they're all disabled. They all want DLA, so there's the disability living allowance. So now the sockets are usually higher up. You wouldn't normally put sockets low down anymore. And if your house floods, it knocks the wiring out. All my sockets in here are all up high. I haven't put no sockets down low. The only socket down low is the original one that was in here. But I would keep my sockets up higher now, just because I'm getting elderly myself. Now you see now how they wired up now. That's exactly the way I've done mine. That's the way they're wiring. If I was to pull off any of the old sockets in this house, that's the way they're done. There may be a new way to do it in YouTube, but that could be American voltage, 110. Now there's new connectors coming out now to join cables together, which is only out recently. Makes things a lot handier. The Americans had them years ago. You just push the wee things into the connectors, but they say their voltage is a lot lower. So that's... You see now he's got the wee knife mark there, he's gone down too far. And that's because he used the knife. But so as it is now, I'm doing this house the best of the code I can do it, or exceed that code. So I've got the mini circuit breakers. I've got my non-return valve. I put the non-return valve there in my plumbing. That's another thing you need to put in now. That valve there, it's only £3. Non-return valve stops any polluted water coming back up your hose and into your house. This house would never fit it with one. So all the many things I know about are originally. But if you get I'll show it here. If you get one cable on its own, you bend the cable back on itself. So less chance of getting pinched. That's all it's going to show now. So as it is, I still wouldn't change the wiring. But if anybody ever wanted to do anything different, there's plenty of spare cable on there, they can cut it off. But you need to be careful on what you see on YouTube. It's different voltages, different countries, different standards. That's all the electrical system there. So I'm not saying Peter's wrong, but I'm just saying that if this is how the house is designed, and if anybody was to come and check the electric, I don't know if they want to find some new way of doing things. But I'd always say to anybody, what I could do is buy a modern book, and it'll tell you in a book. But the book tells you the facts rather than watching other people on YouTube doing stuff. Don't get me wrong, I use YouTube all the time. I changed the diesel filter on my car. I did my disc brakes, brake pads, and electric handbrake in the back. So I've done lots of things I would never tackle. I'm going to do my gearbox oil next by watching a YouTube video. Never done gearbox oil before. So that'll be my next thing. But I wouldn't watch one video. I watch several videos. And you compare like for like. And you notice people doing things wrong. Even though you don't know how to do it yourself, but you notice things they're doing wrong. And then we're watching a pile of people. Hopefully then you get it right yourself. So that'll be the end of this wee video here now. So I don't know what age that book is. But that's how the wiring's done on the house originally.